Thanks, team. Whakalofa atu, Elliot here. So let's get stuck into it. We've seen that the hate speech laws are continuing, that are going to be implemented real strongly. So we're going to lose the number one freedom that New Zealanders have had, which is the freedom of speech. We know that the government is, I wouldn't say pretending, but they are putting out there that they're looking for public consultation, but really that means that they're just going to throw a few of their people in to hear the complaints of New Zealanders, to hear that they're about to take away our freedoms, and then they're going to just take away our freedoms of speech. Shockingly, we've seen that New Zealand, for the first time in history, has been downgraded in terms of our efforts against human trafficking. So New Zealand has failed to meet the minimum requirement of elimination of human trafficking. Right, that's come out a few days ago. That's incredible. So New Zealand is now technically a softer place for human traffickers. That's New Zealand. And now we've got this issue where the New Zealand Army, a person has written in the New Zealand Army, they have won the first prize, and they've won it by saying that the Army should be a fighting force. It shouldn't have to be force-fed, what they refer to as diversity and inclusivity, which basically means sacrificing the strength, their ability to fight for the non-gender binary, different quota system style of thinking that is invading the Western world. And that's incredibly dangerous, obviously, because it means that instead of being a fighting force, it is a diversity force, and that's really, really quite scary. The minister, Peeni Henare, has gone in there and he's basically said that those aren't our values. So the idea of being an excellent warrior is less important than being an ally, a gender fluid ally, a LGBTQIA plus racial quota system type of ally. This is incredibly dangerous, and it leads me to wonder, perhaps the All Blacks are too exclusive. Maybe the All Blacks need to be more diverse. We need more gender binaries in there, we need more LGBTQIA plus, perhaps we need more Chinese, because I think that Chinese are underrepresented in the All Black camp. Maybe what we need is to change all that around. So really, really dangerous types of ideology that we see going in there. Now, I think what's been worrying me, and it's been growing, I think many people will say it in a flippant way, but I think what's worrying me greatly is that we're starting to show a very strong similarity with a fascist style of nation. Now, when I was doing my history, and we were looking at Nazi Germany and the regime, Hitler's speeches, and the increasing anti-Semitism that of course led to or heralded the final solution, I used to be very harsh with the Nazi Germany people. I thought, they were all Nazis. They were all Nazis. They were all active in attacking different groups of people, and they were, just pushing their agenda over the top of life itself. But I'm wondering if actually there's a bit of a similarity, because New Zealand now, of course, has the two big cornerstones of a Western nation now is being disrupted, being destroyed. So on the one side, we now have death being used for convenience, not just convenience, but now it is a state-funded service. So you think about abortion and now legalized suicide, the idea of the doctors, the publicly funded doctors now killing people because they're sick, and now that's moving into whether they're old. We now have a situation where our freedom to speak, our speak freely ideals are now being removed and being shut down and erased. And so that's a cornerstone, another cornerstone of the society that we live in. You add to that the government is heavily influencing our private sector. You think about your EVs, you think about your climate alarmism style policies, you're thinking about your agriculture. They are slamming down on farmers. They are hurting to the point where multiple farmers and small business people are even committing suicide. You think about the government's dismal efforts in terms of mental health, their failures at pretty much everything they're touching. You think about the fact that they are now pushing the army to be ideological allies of hardened progressive left. And that's the thing. We now even see that apartheid, segregation based off your skin colour, is now policy, and it is increasing in policy. And there is some very scary similarities now with children being targeted. So children are now being targeted and instructed in sexual appetites, in climate alarmism, in segregation, in racial, in the ideas around race is what you are not a person, but that you are a part of a racial group and your properties come from there. They're going after the children. And now, of course, you've got the chariot, and I think we heard from Helen just before, that you've got that chariot ideology now being pushed upon Christian children. So these are absolutely fearful policies that are affecting our children, our populace, our people, and therefore our future. And I think that's what worries me the most, is that we're looking into the face of the building blocks of what we've seen before in fascist nations. So we need to be there. We need to really stand against this insidious evil. And I think that we are starting to see more and more of our people standing up and taking notice of that. So that's it from me for now. Can't wait to be in the studio with you guys again, but until then, back to you in the studio. Ka kite.